Guys, so today I was working on an experiment and it completely failed. I messed up my 3D oven, so for the day I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna answer a few common questions of sublimation. What is it? What happens? There's just really a lot to cover, so forgive me if I don't. First things first, what is sublimation? Sublimation is a process, science process, in which an ink bypasses the liquid state and turns into a gas and infuses with the fabric. Now, the heat must be high temperature between 385 degrees to 400. The pressure must be medium to heavy, and the garment that you are pressing must be polyester 100%. You can get away with doing maybe 70%. Really, it's meant for 100%. I see people who say 65%. Guys, it's meant for 100%. You can also, do a lot of things you're not supposed to, but they don't always turn out well. I follow instructions, so therefore I get results. So 100%, at minimum 90% polyester, if you can find that. But 100 to 90% polyester, light colors. You cannot sublimate on black. The printer does not sublimate white, does not print white. Meaning, let's say your design has this white and you're trying to sublimate it on an orange shirt like this. This part of her shirt and the face that are lighter colors, because this is a dye process, will be the color of the glove. Okay, so there is no white ink on this paper. The white you do see is just the paper. The printer does not print white, at least the CMYK ones. It's not a white toner printer. So again, light colors, dark gray is probably pushing it. I have done a dark gray, but with black inks and darker colors. So, that's something you start to play with as you get into it. Basics are no black, no cotton. There are other things you can do to sublimate and have it on cotton, but it's not directly to the cotton. It's either an additive or something in between, which is another topic to go through. So again, it does not print white. Works best on white color garments. If you're purchasing tumblers, it must be coated for sublimation. You can't just get any tumbler. It's got to be specifically coated to allow the inks to infuse. Okay. What kind of ink is good? I've tested the Cosmo inks, don't get me wrong, they are great. Just like every other sublimation ink I've tested. I have tested a few sublimation inks from Amazon that come from China that weren't as great. By meaning weren't as great, they were diluted to make more out of a little bit. Water was added to it. So that was just a trade that the companies did, which they were taken down already. Anyway, so I do have the CBY, let me get it. This is the ink that I'm currently running. In fact, I also ran Ink Pro, which was outstanding. I just accidentally ordered this one instead of Ink Pro, and on the mix, I mixed them and nothing happened. So that's another thing. However, you don't want to get into the habit of doing that. So I got this off of Amazon. Ink Pro has their own site, and they're also on Amazon. Guys, there's other inks out there that are just as outstanding as the Cosmo inks that come from all the same origin. Not that I'm bashing them, but everyone's saying get Cosmo inks, get Cosmo inks, like there's a difference, and there really is not a difference from the 4 that I have tested to the Cosmo inks. So That's that. Ink. Sublimation printers. They have printers that are made for sublimation that come straight out of the box, and they are sublimation printers. Epson has them at a cost of a couple $1,000s or more. Sawgrass has them. Tabletop printers, about $700 to $1,000 for the Sawgrass. Now, Epson is top of the line printer. Epson brand is ideal to convert to sublimation because they don't require heat to print. So their print heads aren't heat related, or doesn't use heat to print. So therefore, Epson is ideal. Here is a rule of thumb when you're wanting to convert an Epson or wanting to know if an Epson can be converted. Rule of thumb: if you can find a refillable cartridge for the model Epson that you are purchasing or a continuous ink system, then yes, you can convert it. If it has an eco tank attached to it, yes, you can convert it. Epson model. Now, there are other printers that, with the exception, that have refillable cartridges, stuff like that. I don't get into them because their print heads are not Pizzazzo, whatever it's called. But anyway, so if you can find refillable ink cartridges or a continuous ink system, you can convert the printer, because all you then do is pull the cartridges that are currently in the printer and replace them with the refillable, put sublimation ink in there, and off you go. I do have a video on how to convert an Epson printer with a continuous ink system, which I use that because I pour a whole bottle. They're, these. I pour the whole bottle inside, and I don't have to fill them for a long time and not have to worry. If you don't have the space to have a tank hanging off the side of your printer, then you get the refillable cartridges that stay inside the printer, and you're good to go. Or an Epson Eco Tank that already has it attached. Now, can you convert a used one? Yes. Problem with those used ones is if they've been sitting for quite some time and they haven't been printed, or the inks got low or kept printing with low inks, you're going to have to flush the lines to get them to unclog. So if you have an Eco Tank that has ink in it, the less chaotic way would be to just continue to print. Or you can take a syringe and suck out the inks. Again, I said the less painful way was to print it out. So you can, but you got to make sure the Eco Tank is completely empty. When you put the new ink, the sublimation ink in, you then have to do a few prints to make sure that the ink in the lines, the old ink in the lines, is completely out and it's fully sublimation before you actually start to do product. Because if it's diluted, it will fade and wash away. So, an Epson that is not an Eco Tank, again, you find the refillable cartridge or the continuous ink system, and you pull out those old cartridges that it has, flush the lines. I have both videos, simple, shouldn't take you no more than 1 to 2 hours to save you about $500-$600, guys. Shouldn't take you 1 to 2 hours, and that's with stress and break between it, okay? It's really not that hard as long as you follow instructions and not try to find the easy way out. One way to do it is flush the lines. Boom, get over it. So again, Epson, if you find refillable cartridges, continuous ink system, and the ink to fit the model printer, you're good to go. Sublimation paper. I currently use a Sub Eco. I just recently switched to this. I am trial and erroring the Eco, but I was using a Sub 125 on every size, and it worked outstanding. I have compared it to leading brands, the Text Print, a couple other brands that were out there on Amazon, Koala, and a Sub stood its job for its price. I have also used printer paper. You're wagering with the lint that comes attached with the printer paper, and not all of them are, you know, not all printer papers are made for you to use under high heat. So just keep that in mind. I do have a video where that states it, but I'm not going to get into the shortcuts here. We're getting into diving into sublimation. Okay. You can sublimate on a number of things, from tumblers to mugs to wooden signs to shot glasses, pillowcases, shoes. As long as it has the poly coating it needs, you can sublimate on it, okay? And I want to touch a couple of points. If you're doing infusible ink, it's the same concept, except for you do not have to cut your prints. So for instance, this is a print that I did straight from the printer. I'm going to lay it on the canvas, obviously without the wrapping, and press. And it's done. No cutting involved, none of the white that you see extra, none of that happens. It doesn't transfer, and you don't have to worry about it. So, I'm not sure what other questions I can answer. When you're purchasing your printer, please bear in mind print size. For instance, these tumblers require more than a regular standard size sheet of paper to do these, so a regular letter sheet will not accommodate this or other bigger projects. So not every Epson printer prints the same size or quality either, but all of them have great quality. I currently have a 2 Workforce 7720, and I'm actually going to be raffling out a printer that I'm waiting on the refillable cartridges to arrive, and I'm going to convert on live camera and test it, print it, and send it off to one of my subscribers at random. So guys, stay tuned for that. I'm really trying to get information out to you. You also want to get heat tape. This is tape rated for withstanding heat. You want parchment paper that does not have wax. I use this brand because it's as big as my press, and for the price is outstanding. But you need parchment paper. You would need to Google sublimation blanks so that you can get your tumblers and everything else that you're looking for. And t-shirts need to be 100% polyester, no black. If you're wanting to sublimate on cotton or black, there's 2 options. I also have used sublimation ink to print on printable heat transfer vinyls. That's what I currently use on dark garments until something else becomes available. There is the glitter method, where you take the glitter vinyl, the glitter heat transfer vinyl, and you apply it to the garment, and then you sublimate onto the white glitter. That can be done on cotton, any color, because essentially the image will be on the white glitter. You can do it on silver, you can do it on lime green, but like I said, it's a dye process, and the colors will fall according to, the color wheel. There's also these sheets called Sizer Easy Subli, which is a vinyl that is not glitter that you can sublimate on. In fact, I have some of those. In here. Somewhere. Okay. This is the white glitter. People say Sizer. Only reason I would say Sizer is because Sizer is thick enough to withstand the minute it needs under the press for it to be sublimated. So this would be applied like normal vinyl. You know, you can cut it to your size. There's videos on how to on my thing. And then you would sublimate onto this once it's on the garment. Then these are the Sizer Easy Subli sheets, which are pretty costly, and I'm going to give you my bird's eye on this. I use the printable inkjet vinyl. That is just as cheap, or I'm sorry, that is a lot cheaper than one of these sheets, and the sizing, of course. I can get the 3GO Peak in 11 by 17s, as this only comes in 8.5 by 11. And I'm not a fan of the grainy texture look, but this is vinyl that you can sublimate on. So if you contour cut this and you want it to say baseball and then you want to dye it blue, then you contour the word baseball and you print in blue off your sublimation printer and press, and there you have it, or whatever photo image you want to put on it. These are the two options you do have to sublimate on dark cotton. But I personally use printable inkjet vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, with sublimation ink instead of regular printer ink. I have a video on that being tested as well. Outstanding quality. So to touch base, if you want to sublimate on black, you will need Sizer Easy Subli. There's a Subli Flock I've never tested. There's the glitter method that you can sublimate on. You can also sublimate on glow-in-the-dark vinyl by Sizer, and one more brand. It's a local brand here, so I don't know if they sell it. I'll have the link down below. And that is it. Those are the only options you have right now if you want to sublimate on dark and or cotton. Now, if you want to do light and cotton, there's this spray thing going around that I've tested many times. They all fade. They're not of quality. So check out those videos. I don't recommend it. Others will. I'm a person that sells quality, so me personally, I wouldn't purchase something with that on it, as well as I wouldn't sell it in my day-to-day operation, so I wouldn't tell you guys that it's okay, but I'm not going to tell you guys what to do either. Anyway, with that being said, to sublimate on white or light cotton garments, I have these sheets called reveal sheets, which I have another video showing you how to sublimate on cotton light colors, because the dark colors I just explained to you how to do that, but this is just light colors, and you can do so using your sublimation ink. I have that video as well, and you can check that out somewhere in my mix of craziness. I just wanted to touch base about the printers, the rule of thumb. I do want to let you guys know that I did compare my Epson to Sawgrass, and the Epson quality was outstanding compared to the Sawgrass SG 400 and 800 that I did have. So I will tell you, I will not go back to the Sawgrass. They do have their own software, which is great. But if you wanted to do wide format printing, you would then need to add another $300 to $400 attachment to that. Their inks are about $400 to refill. Not to mention, if you do the refillable cartridges, there's a lot of glitching with colors. It was a lot worse than converting an Epson, guys. If you want to do it, hit me up, message me. I'll help you guys. I'll get a video out there. I've pretty much had a couple of Epsons before I got to the one I got to. So I've done my share of rehabbing printers, because I never bought any of them brand new except my workforce. So one of my workforces. I go to jiffyshirts.com to get my shirts. I use Team 365 100% polyester t-shirts, and if you're looking for something that's more like cotton, Delta brand has more of a cotton feel, as well as the Cricut brand, but the Cricut brand runs a size smaller unless they already fix that. So I only really use the Cricut brand for the toddler sizes. And then everything else, I get it off my Jiffy site, Team 365 brand. I'm hoping I covered all the bases of sublimation. You need 400-degree temperature, 60 seconds in most items, unless it's ceramic, tumblers, that kind of thing. And let's say you have your temperatures at 385 to 400 degrees, and you are for sure your press is at that temperature, and it is not more time, it is more pressure. It requires a certain amount of pressure so that there is no actual air flowing between it and the gas can actually transfer. So you need just enough pressure to where it's tight and no airflow. Doesn't have to be smashed down to the ground. I've tested that as well. You can check out those videos. If you have any questions on where I get my items, I'm going to try to link all the stuff below. A couple photos in between the videos or towards the end of the video. I don't know how I'm going to cut this. I thought I would type it up and kind of make it into a video, but I'm not sure if people enjoy reading or whatnot. So just decided to kind of speak about it for a moment, um, and give you guys the rundown of how it works, I guess. And I'm pretty sure I missed a few things, but if you still have questions, like I said, feel free to ask me. I'm here to help. Um, I try to get to my questions as fast as possible. So hit me up.